welcome to Sunflower Sessions. It's your girl Alicia Marche with the amazing
Kat Lincoln.
and we just want to thank you guys for tuning in again with us on Sunflower Sessions. This is session number 3, episode 3 of season 1. So let's just jump right into it, yeah?
Yeah.
So our topic for this episode will be about self-worth. Very, very important topic. I think that pertains to every single being walking on this earth. You have to believe in yourself and understand that you are worthy of everything you can ever think or imagine.
Yes.
And I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with, believe it or not, because we're so we set a high standard for ourselves, and sometimes if we don't reach it, it's an issue and things like that. But in order for you to really blossom and grow in life, you have to understand who you are and understand that you're worthy. So jumping in on that, Kat, what is your definition of self-worth?
Loving yourself for who you are, flaws and all, and appreciating yourself, and not having expectations and acceptance from outside forces, but within, and being okay with that.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
think that's the simplest way I can describe it.
Yeah, my definition is kind of similar, pretty much, but if just wrap it up in one, loving your whole complete self. And that includes, like you said, your flaws, your the good things about you, the bad, the negative, just loving you completely, from your image to how you think about things, and just your truth, Yeah, so why do you think that a lot of us struggle with that at times? Like, beat ourselves up necessarily.
I think it's fundamental. I think it's developmental age. We're taught as a society, I don't care what culture you come from, we're taught at an early age to love others, to care about other people's feelings. And we really never get taught by our parents. And it's no pointing fingers, but because they don't know. We've never been taught to love ourselves and treat ourselves kindly and say nice things to ourselves. We focus on others, our family members, our mom, our siblings, friends at school. And so you leave home and the same thing is at school, So it's hard now when you become an adult to look at yourself because you feel like you're being selfish because you care about yourself.
Yeah, I think life in general has a lot to do with your foundation, growing up. And I've kind of really, I wouldn't say I've always thought about that, but I think when you end up having a child, you understand that foundation is so important. And it's kind of like it puts a mirror in your face to touch on the things that you need to work on, so that you won't pour out that negativity.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's not even negative, I should say, but just so you know how to nurture your child and how to teach them properly and things of that nature. Self-worth is actually something I've dealt with throughout my lifetime. From, I think one major thing was more so image. Growing up, I wasn't considered, I'm beautiful now, hey, I recognize that, but I wasn't considered the pretty girl, or I was short. I was very shy growing up, and I wasn't like the typical girl everybody liked. I always had a lot of friends necessarily, or guy friends. Like, I was a girl, especially in high school, I was a homegirl. Like, I knew everything that everybody was doing, but I wasn't necessarily the girl just like, and that kind of bothered me, because, and then another insecurity, just talking about self-worth and things, because I think that's what dealt with me, was my big lips. I used to get teased for my lips, which is crazy because everybody wants the big lips now. But when I was growing up, I used to get teased for my big lips. I used to get teased for my big teeth. I didn't have the body, things like that. So a lot of image stuff with me growing up, and it wasn't necessarily at home, but at school and around people, and that kind of bothered me. And I would use dance. I was an amazing dancer, so dance was like, oh well, that was what I would use to kind of push away. Dance is my therapy in life for everything, but yeah, I think that had a lot to do with my self-worth, unfortunately.
It's important. And I think one example, too, just a few weeks ago, McKenna was in class and she was the group leader. They always
Who's
pick her as
McKenna? Because they don't know who McKenna
my
is.
third child. My extra child.
She
is
fabulous.
extra.
You guys will meet her. So.
There was a girl in the class. McKenna was the group leader, and there was a girl who's very bossy and like pushy. And so McKenna tends to run the show, but it's always when this little girl comes, it's almost like all that feistiness just goes away.
Shell, probably, huh?
So me being the mother that I am, and extra too, I got upset. And she put her thing on mute, and I said, stand up for yourself.
That's good.
I told her, I said, don't sit there and just let somebody take over.
That's good.
And not only that, be rude about it and not be polite. You need to correct that.
That's good.
Because it's also teaching people how to treat you.
Yeah.
And we don't, as parents, you don't get to teach your kids that. Like you said, it's not until you have children. If you're a very hands-on parent, you start to recognize those things. And then you reflect on when you were growing up.
Yeah.
How did you deal with those things?
Yeah, because a lot of times I would just, like you said, kind of go in a shell. Very, very quiet. I was a very observant kid. But I was very quiet. Only with certain people is when I would boast my opinion. And then when I would start to speak out, it was just like, who is this? Like...
She's feisty,
y'all. I am not.
She
feisty.
is a lioness.
I am, okay. I wouldn't say necessarily feisty, but I've learned how to voice my opinion. And I kind of started doing that in high school, especially around my cousins and stuff and my family. They call me the mom of the group. Because I'm always the one like, hey guys, that's not what it's supposed to
I
do.
can relate.
And everyone's like, be quiet, Tootie. Tootie's my nickname, guys. But they were like, be quiet. But yeah, I kind of came out my shell. And then it's so amazing to see my daughter because she's only one, but baby is like, she voiced her opinion already. Yeah. But that's something that I want to encourage her to do, but still know how to like
boundaries and guide her,
So moving on, how do you show people how to love you? Because another thing I would deal with too, and I think kind of touches into the self-worth in a little bit, I will always treat people how I wanted to be treated, but when it's not reciprocated, like it's not returned, then it kind of makes you feel like, well, am I not worthy to be treated like that? I believe what you put out is what you receive, but a lot of times, especially, I don't know, like now, people just morals and care for people, a lot of it just went out the door, and it's like, I really don't care. It's about me, and I think there is a boundary when it comes to self-worth. Yes, you want to make sure that you are protecting yourself, but you should never have to put people down intentionally, I should say, if I want to say it like that,
to make yourself
feel better, things like that. So how do you teach people how to treat yourself?
I think it starts with how you treat yourself.
That's good.
And love yourself.
Yeah, that's good.
To understand your self-worth, because when you know who you are and you love on yourself, it's really hard for you to just let people just talk to you stupid or bring all kinds of people in your life.
Yeah.
Or take disrespect, period. Because sometimes it goes hand in hand with self-worth. People mistake kindness as if you're stupid.
True.
And that kind of makes you question your worth. And so I am a firm believer in checking people. I teach my kids that. And to do it adequately, and educationally. And I will read you in 2 seconds without saying one curse word.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do that. I don't know why society frowns upon that. And that to me is suppressing
Yeah, I think
yourself from having a voice.
yeah, I think that's very, very important. That comes with the setting the boundary, just letting people know, like, hey, um, that wasn't okay. You know, a lot of times we kind of brush it off, like, oh, okay, you know. But no, right now, especially when I turned 30, I decided I'm going to fully live my
Yeah.
life. I'm going to fully embrace who I am as Elisha, because a lot of times I would give, like, I'm very good at encouraging other people, giving great advice, but when it came to myself, it was like hard. And I think a lot of people actually deal with that. Like, it's easy for you to like look on the outside and someone else like, oh, you should do this,
That
and you
is
should
so
do that,
true.
and you should, you know. But when you actually put a mirror in front of your face, as they say, and you kind of deal with those issues with yourself, it's a bit hard to grasp sometimes. But I did decide that I'm going to do the work when I turn 30. And my mom would always say, you'll get to a point where you just stop caring about what other people think.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily, it's just you're going to go off the wall and just be like this radical, I don't care type of person, but you're going to stand firm in who you are as a person.
That is so true.
And understand, like, you cannot please everybody. Even when you do the greatest things and the nicest things, there's always going to be somebody who does not like it.
That is so true.
I am learning that, or and fully grasping that. So as long as I know from my heart is golden, and it's you know, pure, and I did not mean to offend anybody, I'm going to take that and I'm going to walk with that. And build myself up, you know. So wow, that's good. That's good. Moving on to what we've been bracing and talking about. One thing I had an issue with was being worthy of the good things that have happened for me
and celebrating
to me,
it.
and celebrating, which is pretty, like, when you think about it, when you say it out loud, it's like, what? That's crazy. But sometimes, a lot of times, I had an issue with embracing my good moments and embracing, like, the great things, and sometimes feeling that it shouldn't have happened for me, or feeling guilty about it. Have you ever felt like that? Younger.
I will always want to be class president. I always wanted to be student government, so I would run for it. But I think because of the home I come from, I had way older siblings, so I got teased a lot. But I would feel bad when I got those accolades and stuff, like whether if it was getting a letter, just being a freshman for basketball, I would really feel guilty.
Wow.
I would feel bad, like, oh, maybe this is not a good thing, because it was almost like I would be shunned for doing something great.
Wow.
I don't know, it's kind of weird.
That's sad.
So I would think that. I was like 19, 18, I remember that. I would be like, maybe I don't, you know. And then with my music too. Yeah.
Speak on that.
Coming from a family, like a culture, just the culture general, don't really respect art. You know, coming from an African background, and they don't respect it in the sense of they don't look at it as a career.
Wow.
And so, you know, younger, in my early 20s, I couldn't even profess that I was a singer. It was almost like I was ashamed to say it. I think I've shared this before in one of my motivational videos.
Wow.
I was ashamed to say I was a singer up until just 2 years ago.
Wow, you have a wonderful gift, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing to, I'm learning. Hey, we're growing.
Just keep going.
Because, you know, culture things too, like when you deal with culture, I think that deals with our foundation.
Yeah.
With being worthy too, because certain things, like you said, are shunned upon, or certain things are not considered great things, which is, you know, crazy. I think everybody was put on this earth to do something different. Everyone is not going to be a doctor. I never thought I would be a doctor. I never wanted to be a lawyer. I never wanted to be what people consider great professions, you know. But I do thank God that I had the mother I had, because she always encouraged us to be the best at whatever it is we wanted to do.
Yes.
She never pushed us to do anything that we didn't want to do. And I thank God for that, because I know a lot of people in households who were forced to pursue something that they didn't have a heart for.
That's why a lot of people are dying and living. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to tell my kids, when my two oldest was little, I used to say, and I think it's subconsciously because what I went through as a kid, I used to say, you can be anything you want to be. Whatever you choose to be the best at it. If you're going to sharpen a pencil, you better be the best pencil sharpener there is. Yeah. They'll tell you to this day.
That's
and
what
I
my
meant
mom
that.
said. Yeah,
I meant that.
That's exactly.
Because too many dreams have died. Just died in people. People are working careers they don't even like. Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep growing. Okay.
So what we're going to do now, we're going to actually jump into the next segment that I wanted to do, because I think it's important. And I actually saw someone else do this. And it was very touching, very, very awesome. And actually, when I taught, this was one of their, so I used to teach at a school, and we would have a writing assignment, because a lot of our youth nowadays don't know how to express themselves at all. They don't know how to just write about things. And so I would put a prompt on the board every time they came in, and they would write for like 5 minutes, right? And one day I had them write a letter to their younger self. They're in middle school and high school, but I just had them write a letter and say, what would you say to yourself? And it was so powerful and awesome, because I had them read them out loud. Well, not everybody, if they didn't want to, but a majority of them did, and I was just like blown away by it. So what we're going to do right now in this segment, we are going to read a letter to ourselves, our younger selves.
Lined over here, so I'm going to put this on.
All right. Sorry guys, you're the favorite.
We're flipping the pages. There's nothing like flipping the pages.
Sunflower sessions. Hey. All right. So,
what? I'm so confused right now.
Sorry,
okay,
guys.
Let's go into it. Sorry, guys.
We're gonna go into it right now, all right? Would you like to read yours first?
Sure, why not? I shall go first. Here we go. Dear young Kathy, I know you think things are hard and you just want to feel loved. But don't worry, things will get better soon. Because what you're going through, so even though you're going through so many dark things, you're being prepared for being a beacon of light to the world. Don't be shy. Don't shy away from your confidence and the beauty that you have. I know how you feel about being sexualized at such a young age. It's not your fault. Some adults have been abused and don't know how to control their sexual spirits. Kat, you are a happy kid. Keep looking at things in a positive light. Remember, hurt people hurt others. So make sure you remember how it feels, so you never make anyone feel the way that you have felt. Young Kathy, you are beautiful and you're loved by the Most High God.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh.
We're not crying here today. Because if you start crying, then I'm going to start crying. It's your turn.
Okay, it's my turn. I'm not gonna cry, guys. She's making fun of me because I am a big crybaby, okay? But I think I could hold it down, okay?
Yes,
so,
you can.
all right. Hello, beautiful. I am writing this letter to you so that it might possibly help you navigate through this thing we call life. Life as we know it can be a roller coaster, but it's a ride worth riding. Enjoy the ride. I know it's easier said than done. The moments when you're full of worry and frustration will fade away, and the only things that will last are the lessons learned. You are going to fall and fail, but the great thing is you'll rise up and be okay. You'll eventually learn your worth when you meet your greatest love, Yeshua. He'll teach you all about yourself and how amazing you are. Don't worry about being different or standing out because that is what you were chosen to do. Embrace you in all of your flaws. Embrace your big lips, your big teeth, your short height, and your shyness and everything that you don't like about yourself. Your heart is golden, and that is all that matters. Do not be afraid to shine. Love and speak your truth. You are beautiful, worthy of everything you desire in love.
Beautiful.
Awesome. I
And
got
how nice! And how nice you put worthy in there. It all ties into what we're talking about. That's beautiful.
I'm telling you, that's something that I have been down. I'm not gonna cry. I got a little tear trying.
I see it. I'm right next to her, and the tear is just waiting to drop down her eyelids,
I'm really
guys.
not. But Lord, I'm really not trying to cry. I feel it coming. But
she's pink right now. She's like hot red.
Gosh. Okay, guys. I wanted you to show because I want to be transparent.
Absolutely.
And I gotta be transparent. This is really something that
Josh, can we get Kleenex, please?
I seriously dealt with my entire life.
Oh, sissy. So
and these tears are really like tears of joy because this is what the show is about, healing and growing.
Yeah.
And in order for you to heal and grow, you have to touch those things. Mm-hmm. And I'm really understanding that I am worthy of everything that has happened to me. Thank you, babe. That I can never think or imagine. I'm in a wonderful place in my life, and I now understand why I went through what I went through and why I went through it. And it's for moments like these that we're having right now. I'm a firm believer that a lot of things happen, not just for you, but for other people.
Yeah.
And when we talked about doing a show, it's to help other people heal and to other people to touch those places that they're afraid to touch and the things that they don't talk about.
Or deal with,
and I can truly say that I'm in a place where I feel that I am worthy of everything that I have had, that is coming, and that will be. And I'm not ashamed to boast in that, not necessarily being arrogant or conceited or anything, but I'm worthy of it, and it's okay to feel like that. It's okay to be joyful. It's okay to be strong and feel confirmed in who you are. And
it's a beautiful journey. Life is a beautiful journey.
It is beautiful, even
because
the moments.
Even in the ugly moments, like you just said, there's so much teachable moments. It's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Like when you're going through bad times, it's up to you to say, oh, it's neither a poor me, look at me. Or you can say, Father God, what can I learn from this? Mm-hmm. Perspective. So thanks for sharing that, Alicia. It's beautiful. But this is what the show's about, right, Queen?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to wrap it up. We do have a quote
yes,
that we want to leave you guys with, or a quote or two, but the quote that I have is from the amazing Maya Angelou, God rest her soul. She's a beautiful being, beautiful spirit, and it reads, if I am not good to myself, how can I expect anyone to be good to me? And that's something that I would like for us to take with us throughout this week, to really reflect on who you are and your worth as a person, and learn how to love your complete self so that others can learn how to love you too. Kat, do you have anything you want to share before we close out?
I would like to say this to the beautiful kings and queens out there. Love on yourself. We're in times, especially now, that we must learn to love on ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's okay to love on yourself. Yeah, be selfish that way.
That way. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to Sunflower Sessions. Be sure to follow us on Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at SONFLOWER Sessions.
Yes.
We are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And just thank you guys again for joining us. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments or would like to show us some love, be sure to drop it in our DMs and share the podcast. You know, this is an amazing podcast. And
sorry guys, our husbands are working behind the scenes, and Josh, Tootie's husband, is doing the Harlem Shake.
But thank you guys.
Sorry.
We love you all, and remember to just keep growing.
Yes.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Deuces.